Welcome to the Parkrun Brief, the weekly parkrun training podcast where I break down what we've published this week on parkruntraining.co.nz and turn it into practical coaching advice you can use this Saturday. I'm Coach Ray. I am a parkrun running coach. I help recreational and beginner athletes achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. So this week on parkruntraining.co.nz, I've got a range of great tips that you can incorporate to run a faster park run or a more successful park run this weekend. But let's start with some activities for Sunday. Your 10-minute recovery routine. Sunday is a great day to do this on, or you can do it on any of your rest days. I do recommend a longer run at some point, and Sunday often works well for a lot of people. But this 10-minute routine will set your running up to be a lot better the following weeks. If you're watching on YouTube, you can follow along and see these steps. You can look at the links on later. So the first 2 minutes is nice easy mobility, doing some arm circles, doing some hip circles, doing some leg swings, gentle torso rotation. It basically restores your range of motion and starts reducing risks of niggles developing later on. But that mobility prepares you for what we're going to do over the next 8 minutes. And it's going to help undo the stiffness that has crept in after Saturday's run. So the next 3 minutes, from this 2 minute to the 5 minute mark, focus on the key running muscles. Hold stretches for 20 to 30 seconds. So look at doing the calves, both sides, hamstrings, both sides, quadriceps, both sides, as well as the hip flexors, and you guessed it, both sides. That will just help get rid of some of the tightness and also set you up for better running performance and running technique. So for the next 3 minutes after that, so from the 5 minute to the 8 minute mark, grab a massage ball, a foam roller, or just use your hands and get in there into, once again, those key areas that are tight for runners. Calves, into your glutes, into your IT band. If you can tolerate it, I don't recommend going full force on that, as well as your lower back. Do small, slow movements with your hand, with a massage ball, foam roller. This will help release any accumulated tension from the park run the day before or any of the workouts during the week. If you do find somewhere nice and tight, just apply a bit of firm pressure, pause there, focus on some big, deep breaths, get plenty of oxygen deep down in the lungs, and that will help ease that. The final 2 minutes is some guided breathing and some reset. Big, deep inhalations. Aim for sort of 4 to 6 seconds inhaling. Pause once you've taken that big, deep breath in. Pause for a couple of seconds, and then a long, slow, controlled exhalation. Just in through the nose, pause, exhale out the mouth. This will help lower stress, improve oxygenation throughout the body, not just the muscles that we've worked on, and just helps you relax and enjoy this session. So take 10 minutes to get that done, and that will help improve your recovery, but also set you up for success. Now, this is the Saturday Spark. This is what I put out on a Saturday morning to get people ready for their park run. If you haven't seen it, try and employ some of this next week's park run. So the aim is to have 3 small wins for the park run. Target for number 1 is win that first kilometre. Now, I don't mean being first to the 1 kilometre mark. You might even be last, but win that kilometre mentally. Win it with control. Win it with success. It doesn't need to be fast. It does need to be a sustainable pace. Most people just put everything they can into that first kilometre and then hang on and fade massively as they make their way to the finish line. We want this first kilometre to be controlled and sustainable. You're needing to stay smooth, relaxed, steady, while everyone else is surging, putting everything into it. If you do this with control, you've already won the mental battle for the day, and that's setting you up for the success over the next 4 kilometres. The next thing I want you to try and target is pre-select it. Don't just make it up on the spot when you get to it. Pre-select it for one section of the course. Doesn't matter what it is. It might be a long straight, it might be a climb, it might be the final kilometre. Just 2 points on the course, and commit to being fully present for that portion. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about your pace. Don't try and compare yourself to others. Just focus on your breathing, on your rhythm, and just be in control and present during that section of the course. And then the third and final thing I want you to focus on is finish with intent. Not exhaustion. I don't want you to absolutely sprint to the line and you collapse and fall over and struggling to breathe. Finish strongly. Finish with purpose. Finish with control. Focus on lifting your posture for those last 200 meters, keeping the shoulders relaxed as the intensity increases. Hold your form for that final push to the finish line. Finish is not purely about speed. It's about finishing well, about finishing safely, and with everything delivered without just losing that control and falling over the line. You see it every now and then, not at every park run, but there's people that absolutely commit themselves and absolutely spend every last piece of energy they've got. That's not what that is about. We want you to be in control. I want you to finish short walk and then straight into a cool down jog, having that presence to do so. So focus on those 3 key areas this weekend. Win that first kilometre, stay present for one pre-selected section of the course, and finish with intention, not exhaustion. Moving on to the fast track workout. Now this is a fantastic workout. I love tempo workouts. They are in control. They are a faster pace. It's comfortable, slightly challenging, but not a massive effort. These sessions are designed to build your strength, rhythm, and confidence at that comfortable pace. And you can see the session, a 12-minute tempo. You've got the warm-up building up, holding that tempo pace for 12 minutes, and then the cool down. 10 minutes at level 2 for the warm-up, easy, relaxed running. 12 minutes at level 3, that's your tempo effort. And then 10 minutes cooling down at level 2. Don't forget to do the stretches afterwards. So this works for parkrun for a number of reasons. It's helping building that aerobic strength without a massive amount of fatigue. It's improving your pace awareness and your discipline. It's increasing your ability to hold that steady effort and develops that mental comfort at uncomfortable intensity. So you get used to and familiar at that slightly higher pace rather than your normal level 2, just that easy pace. We're pushing that just that little bit, holding it for 12 minutes. You can hold it for a lot longer if you needed to, but this workout we're only after 12 minutes. This will also make your parkrun pace feel smoother and more controlled. At that level 3, it should be a firm pace. It should be sustainable. Breathing is still in control. It's not getting out of control. You'll be able to speak a few words at a time, not complete sentences, but partial sentences at that intensity. And the effort stays the same from the start to the finish of the rep. My advice is to think flow, not force. Settle into that tempo pace early. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Focus on smooth, economical running for the duration. Session is about patience and precision, not absolutely flat tack and then fade. We want that control. Now, if you want to do this workout alongside me on a treadmill, the Velocity has got a great workout there. I've got a 14-day free trial where you don't need a credit card to sign up, but you're welcome to at the end of the 14 days. Join me for more workouts. So that workout is in Velocity and you can run that session with me. All right, what's next? This is an article about some strength work and why it's important and how you'll benefit from it as a park runner. Now, it doesn't need to mean a big workout in the gym and you turn into Arnold. We want you to have a precise, controlled workout where you're going to reap the benefits from it. More running is not always the answer, and some focused strength work can pay some massive dividends. Many recreational runners, particularly those with busy lifestyles, juggling work, family, trying to fit that training around it, don't have much time. Adding more distance and extra sessions into your week will lead to fatigue, burnout, and potentially injury through overdoing things. That's why these short, controlled strength sessions are the key. Now, I've got a previous article there about why runners fade in the final kilometres, and that ties in to the whole developing some strength. As I said, more running isn't the key. So if you're already running 2 to 4 times per week, the benefits of adding more distance is starting to get less and less. Some things to watch out for is plateaus in your pace, legs feeling heavy, niggles appearing, and your park run times are starting to stagnate. It's not because you're doing something wrong, you just need a different stimulus, and strength training is going to provide that training stimulus to enhance you, to make your running more economical. When you're stronger, each stride costs less energy, there's less wasted movement, and you fatigue at a slower rate. So, strength also makes your speed work more effective. With strength, you can compensate when tired, when your form breaks down without strength, and the quality of your workouts will drop sooner. With more strength, you'll hit your target paces more comfortably, you'll recover more efficiently between those efforts. Aerobic fitness plays a big role in that as well, and you can carry speed deeper or further into the run. Strength work doesn't replace speed work though, it enhances it. Now, if you're curious about what it entails, I've got a link there where I'll send you a free, I think it's a 6-minute post-run strength workout that you can do after 2, 3, or all your runs each week to help build that strength. So make sure, if you do want it, the link is down in the description. Now, park runners need a different type of strength approach as opposed to that general gym sessions. Park runners need strength. You're never using both legs simultaneously. It's not like you're doing a squat. You're always pushing from one leg, pushing to the next leg. So single leg strength is key. Hip and pelvic control is key. Calf and ankle resilience are key. And your core stability, particularly when fatigued, are the key areas of focus for runners, especially runners running 5Ks and running regularly at that race pace, particularly on a weekly basis. The other key thing is, for recreational athletes, you need to be able to fit that into your busy week. That's why I've developed this short training plan where you can incorporate that strength training after each session. Just follow along the video, click the link down below, and I'll send that video to you. Moving on to the park run power tip. This week I talked about practicing finishing surges in training, because that's how it's going to develop so that you can execute it well on race day. Parkrun PBs are often lost in the final few hundred meters, and when you put together that final few hundred meters, that's often when you get a great PB. You might feel strong through the run, but if you're fading towards the end, things tend to compound over and over as your form deteriorates and you can't maintain that pace. Whereas if you get to that point where your finishing surge is kicking in and you're still relatively fresh, that's when it can be delivered. So a strong finishing surge, it's not just talent, it's skill, and you develop that skill by improving with practice. Intentionally include those finishing surges in your training. It'll teach your body as well as your mind how to change gears when fatigued so you can execute it nicely on a race day. There's a wee video about me talking about it as well, linked in the page. How do we incorporate it? What's the final 100 to 400 meters where your acceleration builds up, finishing with that strong final surge. It's not an all-out sprint from when you start it. It's a continual build in pace so you finish nice and strong. Incorporating that into training, you can include some end-of-run pickups. They only need to be 20 to 40 seconds. Do 2 to 4 of them. Really great to incorporate these in the end of long runs when your legs are fatigued. Fatigued through duration, not through intensity. Recover between these pickups with some easy jogs or walking, and focus on good form throughout with a nice quick cadence. That will help teach your legs to respond when they're already fatigued. Including some fast finishing runs. Once every 1 to 2 weeks, include some runs where the first part of it is at an easy pace, and increase your effort gradually over the final 5 to 10 minutes prior to the cool down. Finish strong without absolutely destroying yourself. That mimics the feeling of the controlled parkrun finish. And finally, the third one there, parkrun simulation surges. Mark out a familiar 200 to 400 meter segment and practice lifting your pace into that 200 to 400 meters and finishing strong. Treat it as if it is a parkrun finishing shoot. If you live close enough to your local parkrun, you can actually do this on the course. So it's giving you the mental cues and keying them in so you can utilize them and execute with precision on race day. Some key things to focus on: relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms and upper body, getting that good tall upright posture, nice quick cadence, not longer strides, turn those legs over quicker, keep that breathing under control, and the mindset is strong but smooth. Strong but smooth. The last thing I got for you this week is looking at Jason's. There's Jason at Parkrun Riverlution. This is a review of his first ever parkrun. And unfortunately for Jason, due to his limited experience at parkruns, it is a textbook example of what happens when you start just a little bit too fast. Now, I might be slightly to blame for him running a little bit too fast. He finished only 30 seconds behind me, but he was trying to stick with me most of the way. He did a fantastic effort, by the way, but it wasn't the best executed performance, and I'm comfortable that he could do a better time with a little bit more control, particularly in those opening kilometers. So let's have a look at some of his splits. He started with a 4:14 pace and then slowly got slower and slower from each kilometer to the next. 4:23, 4:25, 4:28 and 4:30. So the key thing is his fastest kilometer was his first kilometer. I'd much rather his slowest kilometer be his first kilometer and his fastest the last. Flip this on its head. The next key point to be aware of is each kilometer was slightly slower than the one previous. He got slower and slower through the event. It's a slow, smooth and progressive slowdown as opposed to a massive blow up where he suddenly dropped 20 to 30 seconds in a kilometer and was unable to regain any of that speed. So the splits are telling me that he didn't really fall apart. There's no dramatic slowdown, as I sort of touched on. Not a single kilometre that was bad. A 4:30 kilometre is still a fast kilometre for him. But it would have been really great if that was his first one and he got quicker and quicker and quicker. So we've got that steady drifting of pace, which tells us he started slightly fast, but not massively too fast, which is common, particularly for first-timers or inexperienced park runners that are still building their skills to run a sustainable effort. So what he needs to do to fix that, if he opens with a slightly slower kilometre, a 4:20, 4:22, the back half could have got a little bit quicker, 4:20, 4:18 after those first couple of kilometres, and then he would have had plenty of energy to finish strong. So the same fitness, that's not changing. The same effort overall, a better distribution of energy would have generated a faster time. And there's also a wee contrast to Tanya's park run that I analysed a couple of weeks beforehand, where she did the exact opposite. She ran it perfectly. And listening along to the park run brief, I'll be back next week where I'll break down more great training tips, great racing advice that you can incorporate to improve your park run in the following week.